A new sacrifice comes to you.
俺の力見せてやる。
試してみるか。ファーストクローズディバイド。でその程度やらせ見えている。その程度もっとあっけ
オービターゼロぶっ飛べ。
押しつぶす蹴散ら貫く。
あれよ
それここだここだ。やっ決めさせる。やらせその程度
オービター踏み込め。
さあ行くぞ
ファーストあれを食べてみた。このオービター踏み込む。オービター
その程度ここだ。クルゲルハリ蹴散ら貫く。
あれを切る。
その程度
ファーストセカンド
それで終わりか。その程度その程度悪くない。その程度蹴から切り裂く。で切貫く。自然の炎よ。切り裂く。そこ前切り裂く。貫く。 切り裂くここだお前のセカンドクローズリバイド反撃開始切り裂くここだ蹴散らここだ切り裂く後へ遅いそれこそそれで終わりかその程度やらせ悪くは
風が
サードクローズリバイドで切り裂くで切る押しつぶけそれです悪くそれで悪く切り裂くかける切り裂くまだだやった
そのまま寝てな。
ウィンはい A new sacrifice comes to you.
この力で終わらせてやる。
ファーストクローズリバイド
まだだ。ありえねえ。耐えてみた。
セカンドクローズリバイド
お前に見えるか。お前に見えるか。なんだ。
サードクローズリバイド
ファーストセカンドオービターキルオービター負けないあれよっとオービター待てろあれオービターあれそれオービターオービターあれよオービターキル見せるそのまま寝てな。
ウィンはい
この力で終わらせてやる。
ファーストクローズディバイド。
オービタハゼロ耐えられ今切るそこだいけ耐えられ今だ危なすぎる飲みやすい
セカンドクローズディバイド。
その手を離せ。そのまま寝てな。
ウィンはい。
Please change the goddamn song. Ah, goddamn.
邪魔をするなら片付けるまでだ。
ファーストクローズディバイド。
こっちだ。オービタオービタ飲み込め離せ。おいいいこっちだ。もっとスラッいけオービタ惜しかったな。オービタオービタそこだ。俺スライド俺スライド見るあれここだ。面白い。うまいな。オービタ今のは惜しかった。オービタ逃がさねえ。
ウィンはい。セカンドクローズディバイド。ダウン。
この力で終わらせてやる。
出会った不運を呪うがいい。ファーストクローズリバイドさっきりとやらせバルキンスメットキリト見せるそれここだ捕まえて燃え尽きろスメットやらせ捕まえて燃え尽きろイブトキリトキチラそれで終わり。その程度その程度悪くない出るその程度ここださっきりと出る
それいけクレイバー
出るさっとこいセカンドクローズリバイドアタックキリトその程度悪くない
そのまま寝てな。
ウィンはい
俺の力見せてやる。
ファーストクローズリバイド
オービタ捉えたオービタ飲み込めまだだ
やる気はあるのセカンドクローズリバイド
くらえキリファーストセカンド爪が話捉えた
爪が甘いなめるいい打ち込みだ爪
あれよっとまだだ知らさねダークローザ1層2層3層どこだいけそこだよっと
爪なめる
いけ
爪がまだ手強い爪が話に遅いお前にはまだ実践が早いリング厄介なのが現れたな。ファーストクローズリバイド
耐えられる
よっはっクーガよっじゃあよっヒエー無事勝てよやっとどめ無事
Yes.
セカンドクローズディバイドね
リフレクト
Hello?
ゲームゲだなみんな話にならない厄介なのが現れたなファーストクローズディバイドよっね夜に目は覚めたセカンドクローズディバイドこっちだクーガオープンスライドクーガ焦りがはいごめん今やっシートはシートはここだシートは俺クーガ風よそれまくしている自由の込みだゲのゲだなみんな話にならない
Mental. Is there a list where we can see the bracket?
厄介なのが現れたな一瞬で片付けてやるファーストクローズディバイドやらせはしないこうされすぐ来いなんだとやらせねやキリト輝なってる悪いね夜にねいい打ち込みだふんじゃあやっ無事それだ今俺やっワンクーガ風よはでかクーガうすワンク当たれ無事ワンク当たれすっごい風よ イド感激ソニーよっキリソンセッ当たれよセーフここだやらず固めよいい打ち込みからよめほとばしで引く爪あるクーガいくぞ爪その手クーガや当たれ無事感激開始当たれ無事やらずその程度マルキーさほとばしで風よやっさキリソンいけ爪でっちここで爪くんキャッチラやらせここだブレイクダウンよくできましたウィンこだけ言ってリン厄介なのが現れたな。ファーストフローズディバイド
焦りが出てるぜ。今のは惜しかった。
目は覚めた。セカンドフローディバイド爪が入るここは爪
今のは惜しい。こっちだ。
受け止まった
こっちだこっちだ。
爪
おい焦りが出てるぜ。なめるな。爪が飛ばして風よよくできました。みんなとだけ言ってリン厄介なのが現れたな。
片付けを始めようか。
ファーストフローズディバイド爪爪が前 寝てる場合じゃない。
イグジス
よっ
インテリジェンス 本気を見せようか危なすぎる
いい打ち込みだ。
食らい尽くせリフレクト
目は覚めたか。セカンドクローズディバイド。
甘いね危なすぎるわかった
ゲのゲだな。みんな話にならない。
Hello.
How about
Yeah.
now?
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
adjusted my Yeti a little bit.
ファーストクローズディバイド。爪が
How's this? Okay, turning
ま
it
だ
up.
折れるここは
A bit more as I go. Once it's getting unbearably loud, if it is, or if it's too much.
いい打ち込みだ。
Spinning. Okay. The moment I spun the Yeti volume as well, you go check the settings on the back of it.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go ahead and get some water and take a snack on.
セカンドクローズ
Okay,
ディバイド。
input volume is at 100%. Better. It could be louder still. I guess I'll Yeah, I will mess with one of the
焦りが出てるぜ焦りが出てる
よくできました。みんなとだけ言ってリン。
Hey guys, letting you guys know there's only 2 minutes till sign up is over. If you're looking to participate, please be sure to sign up. Or if you want to skip the whole registration game and you want to sign up, you can just put it in the link. Just let me know.
それで終わり。その程度。その程度。
Okay, I lowered input sensitivity. How's
セ
this?
カンドクローズディバイド
That's good. Volume, not loud. Set it up about the same. Grab a drink. Whenever you max out, just commentary style, flavor, and so you're back.
Alright guys, it is now 7 o'clock.
厄介なのが現れた
I can't hear a word you're
やる気
saying.
なのねファーストクローズディバイド
So it's 7 o'clock and ooh, the Elgato is sounding louder than me. In any case, the stream should be starting the match. This is last casual between these two. So I'm gonna go ahead, actually no, keep playing. I have to set up some stuff, like bracket and seating. So give me about 15 minutes, 7:15 or 7:10, and we'll start as soon as possible. If you did not check, oh, everybody checked in this time. Very good. Anybody else wanting to sign up before last minute sign up? If not, I'm going to go ahead and get things started. Alright, bracket has... Oops, I need to edit some stuff.
You started?
Yeah, almost. I'm just setting up brackets. We should be up in about a few minutes, 2 minutes. And also, Outlaw's not here yet.
ディバイド 目は覚めたかセカンドクローズディバイドそれじゃダメだ合わせるかこっちだそこだなかなかやったよっこれがエイミングいい打ち込みだスライドドランサイスライドそこだこっちだおいよ話にならない俺それじゃダメだエイミングド無人今のは焦りがそこだよくできましたみんなとだけ言ってリング
Oh, I didn't even get to end, but I'm gonna end in the middle of it. How do I stop? Oh, this is how. This is how you stop there last minute. Rip that entire room. Are you Outlaw, you back? Ah, shit.
Take my blade of resentment.
Oh, this is...
I am back.
Okay. I'm glad you're back.
You had asked me, so.
Yes. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and get this started now. Senna's gonna go ahead and start. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey guys, this is Road to Evo 4. I'm Senna, and I will be commentating with Outlaw Vinegar today.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
So we're going to be going right into it. What's our first match for tonight?
Well, actually, you have to see the bracket first.
Ooh,
Did you guys take a look at
okay,
the bracket?
well.
No, we haven't taken a look at the bracket yet.
So we're going to go ahead and take a quick look at the bracket so we can let you know what our first match is going to be for the night, and we should do that very soon.
Here it is, right here. I'm gonna post it up. I'm gonna put it up soon.
Okay, let's see.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, I see a full 16 entrants.
Some familiar faces.
I recognize roughly half, I think. I do not normally follow the NetPlay series, so I can only speak from players I've talked to or one or two that I've faced.
Understandable. Looks like we've got some good character variety tonight. I already see 2 Batista players.
Darkhero and Foxa42, right?
Yes.
Yeah, boy Nimbus, we were watching before. Gordeau player. Darkhero Linne. Ruffled, I'm guessing is Ruffled Crab, who is playing Hyde, though I don't know if that's his main.
Yeah, I think it is. And then I believe Pooty is a Wagner player.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna watch Foxa42 and your boy Nimbus on stream first to get things started.
Okay, so starting from the beginning, Foxa42, your boy Nimbus, Batista versus Gordeau.
Alright, this should be an interesting matchup. Foxov is our reigning tournament champion on both PC and PS4, so it'll be interesting to see how Nimbus deals with him.
Hmm.
Do you know anything about Foxa42 or Nimbus?
Well, Fox42 plays locally. I want to say locally for myself and Elemental at least. I believe he lives up in Connecticut, I think, and comes down for the monthlies and I think some of the weeklies in Boston. Nimbus, I'm not very familiar with, I have to say.
I'm not as well. But the matchup's Gordo versus Batista, so what would you say we would expect from something like that?
It's a little hard to say. As far as New England goes, I don't believe that there's any really dedicated Gordo main. Fox Batista, what can I really say? In the times that I have seen him play, which are very limited, I know he's comparatively newer to the Unist scene than some of the other regulars. So it's a question of how well either of them actually know the matchup. Batista Gordo, at least in theory, is a very spacing-oriented matchup because Batista can still play her regular game plan, just has to be wary about mid-screen for Gordo's options.
Definitely, I agree. But defensively, does what are Gordo's? Since Gordo doesn't really have really fast mashing options, does that kind of affect his ability to get out of Batista's gem pressure?
I don't feel that that's the case unless Gordo is cornered, but Gordo, when he's cornered, struggles with a lot of the cast just due to his best mash out options being about 8-frame startup or so. I don't really know Fox's playstyle of Batista well enough at the moment. I know he seems to like mid-screen gem pressure, which gives him a leg up against how to say it, the uninitiated. The average player who doesn't really understand how Batista gem pressure works tends to just fall apart to it, and I think we'll just end up seeing once the two of them are ready and in the room.
Yeah, I'm getting these two players, I'm messaging them, but...
Not to put the focus on the wrong people here, but Senna, this is the first time that I've actually heard about you, so I'm wondering if you want to tell me anything about yourself as far as Unist scene, who you play, how you're involved in commentary here.
Oh, I'm a phone-on player. I've been playing since the start of ST. Not really much to say. I try to go out to majors when I can. I think the Unist community really puts out a really good show in terms of the community effort and just, competition. So I believe, I don't know, I really enjoy the scene. So anything I can do to help out, help it grow, I think it's a good thing.
What region do you come from?
I'm southeast. There really isn't much of a local scene where I live, but sometimes I'll try to make the the VA regionals if I can. But that's kind of a long drive, so it's not very often that I do that.
I see. So you're not in Florida, but how close would you say you are? Florida has...
Oh yeah, I live in North Carolina, so Florida is about it's still a bit of a drive. The closest local scene would be Georgia, but that's still about 4 hours. So.
Do you enter the net play tournaments like this?
I usually don't enter net play tournaments. I do net play a bit, but just because I kind of get antsy with net play and not being able to input things exactly the way I want.
Hey, could you guys call out Moon? Apparently Fox of number 42 and your boy Nimbus already played the match. So
Oh,
Fox of
okay.
42 just 2-0.
Okay, so Foxov has won his match against Nimbus 2-0 already. They went ahead and already played it, so I guess we're going to move on to the next match that we have up.
That's a little bit yikes, but
It
well,
is.
I mean, I guess we can only just proceed from here. What is the next one we actually have set up that we and we're still
we're
waiting on a room too, aren't we?
Yeah, we're waiting on. We have Hanzo. I can get in contact with him. He's gonna be joining the room. Hold on.
Okay, so it sounds like the one we will actually commentate here will be Hanzo Jump to C versus Moon. Though I recognize Hanzo's tag, it's been quite some time since I've played online or done anything of the sort, so I can't remember which character he plays.
I do recognize his name as well, but I also do not know who he plays. But I guess we will find out soon who that is.
Same thing, I believe, with Moon. I want to say Moon plays Phonon, guessing, but I'm actually not sure.
I mean, hey, that's not too bad of a guess percentage-wise, right?
Phonon is a very popular character, yeah.
I definitely think so. I believe you're a Mika player, right? I believe, right?
My play status and main, I think, is still a bit undecided, but for the time being, yes, Mika.
Yeah, one of the people I net play against a lot plays Mika.
Is this a name I would recognize?
Shinso Beam?
Yes. Yep, I recognize Shinso. Seems like he's been putting in kind of a lot of work since I disappeared from the scene back around the end of last year.
He switched to Mika mid last year, and he seems to really like her, so he's been putting a lot of time into her, and hopefully, that works out for him.
Ah, there's Han. There he is. Now we just need the other guy. Freaking Moon. He was just here.
I guess we're having a little bit of trouble getting all of the players in line, but
no, he was in the warm-up. That's the funny part.
So, Elemental, do we have a room set up? I'm not finding it when I search
keyword
myself.
is EXG. Ooh, I just left it.
Okay.
I'm just trying to go through my Japanese to send in an invite. Oh, there we go. QWAZ. Did you get in?
Okay. Yes, I'm getting in right now.
Alright, well, I sent him the invite. Hopefully.
Well,
His
unfortunately,
PS
there's not much to comment on yet.
Yeah, there will be. I'm just panic mode right now.
Hmm.
If he's not
Well,
here in about a minute, he might end up actually being DQ'd for this.
Okay, so long silences usually aren't very good for this sort of thing. So
Yeah, I
let's
know.
make more conversation. So Senna,
Yeah, what's up?
let me see. So you've been playing since you said console release, or is it PC release?
I've technically been playing since PCEL, but I wasn't really playing, like seriously. I just kind of played a little bit. I was in the Discord, but I didn't actually, I didn't really ask for sets very often. I just kind of, once in a while, I would get the urge to play some Under Night, and I would kind of mash around with Yuzu a bit. But I didn't really start taking the game seriously at all until the ST console release, Japanese one.
Ah, that was basically the question I was going to ask was Japanese or English release.
Yeah, it was the Japanese release. But after See Otaku that year of the Japanese release, I kind of had a lot of stuff going on, so I still kept in a little contact with the community, but I was just so busy that I didn't really practice that much. And then I kind of picked it up around CEO last year, where I started kind of going to majors again and playing.
Alright. Change of plans. We're now watching Darkhero versus Hanzo after DQing the guy.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead and watch Darkhero versus Hanzo.
Yes, we're moving forward very, very fast. Bracket has gone through the first, in this case, quarterfinal.
Yes.
So we're going to right to Darkhero versus Hanzo Jump 2C. It said Darkhero is a Linne player.
Wait, what do you mean he was just here? Hold on.
Hanzo Jump 2C. Still racking my brain trying to remember.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank here. But yeah, Darkhero's Linne player. He's been a regular at these events, so
I noticed some good stuff when I was watching him play before. Not really familiar with the name, so I don't know how long he's been playing, but I liked at least some of the pressure structure. I liked the how can I say it? I feel like the elements I saw from his playstyle involve a lot of beating people being impatient.
yeah, I definitely think he excels at that. Though at the same time, I think he's pretty good at playing fast and aggressive when he needs to, from what I've seen. So hopefully, a good mix of that will help him do well at this tournament today.
Darkhero. Oh, and they're gonna start.
Okay, looks like they'll be getting started. And Hanzo, I believe, I see him on Seth at the moment.
Oh, Seth, really?
Seth, one of the strongest characters, also has the advantage of, well, not gimmicks, but character unfamiliarity for most of the West. So, depending on what Hanzo has developed tech-wise, this might be an uphill battle for Darkhero.
Well, I mean, I think there might not be a lot of really high-level Seths, but I think the character is decently popular that you'll have a basic idea of what he does. But going right into it, it looks like Hanzo's going to get the first big hit here. He's going to go straight into the normal mid-screen route.
at a glance, so far it looks like Darkhero might not be that familiar with the Seth matchup. One of the first steps you need to take in fighting Seth is understanding how his orbs work.
Yeah, that's definitely very important, and he did unfortunately get tagged because he wasn't paying attention to the orb drop. But
Still alive though. Breaks the orb.
alright, well, this might be a momentum shift for him right here. Gets the assault.
With good routing, Hanzo would only need. This actually should be all that he would need. If he,
Yeah, that was an unfortunate drop, but luckily Darkhero was able to pick it up there, so we'll see if Hanzo manages to make an adjustment for the next round. Oh, that's an unfortunate grid break.
Hanzo.
Now, a lot of players in this situation might get a little antsy and try to VO, but we'll see if Darkhero manages to what he plans to do on defense.
Pretty standard routing, goes for a corner cross up.
Oh, gets tagged by an orb there, but unfortunately for Hanzo, he's not able to get a full conversion off of that. Oh, but gets hit by B-Die. That's really unfortunate. This might kill.
If he spends all of his meter, he can.
Oh, I think he intended to, but unfortunately he dropped, so we're resetting back to neutral.
Okay, let's see. Seth's low health.
A lot of drops.
Still a big liability here. One more hit, or some good CVO routing from Darkhero would turn that around.
Yeah, one hit from either player is going to do it here, but unfortunately, ooh.
And okay, Darkhero gets the last hit he actually needs. That was a very dangerous game.
Yeah, it was a bit messy, but you know, it's net play. It's, you know, relatively early in the tournament, so it happens.
Hanzo made several good plays, but wasn't able to just finish things off.
Yeah, I do believe he had the right idea. It was just, you know, the execution was what ended up doing him in the end. But we'll see if, you know, in the second set here, he's able to kind of zero in on that execution and bring it home.
He's taking a moment, I think, to collect himself.
That's always, you know, oh, we switched to Byakuya, okay.
Switch.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a good idea when, you know, mentally you're not really in the right place. Just kind of go back to character select, take a moment, think about it, and go back in with a better mindset.
So, Linne versus Byakuya.
Alright.
As always, a big question of what character knowledge both players have.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Byakuya's Rekka series can be very, you know, hard to deal with if you don't understand, you know, what options he has. And it looks like Hanzo's going to get the first hit here. Unfortunately, he's not going to have enough meter, I don't believe, to get Web Oki. Oh, he might have actually gotten it, but unfortunately he dropped at the end there.
Nice counter.
The grid standoff they had for just a moment wasn't.
Oh, that DP is gonna definitely was a very risky decision. Darkhero might kill him off of it.
He'll survive this.
Yeah,
but...
well, yeah.
Here's a pretty aggressive one.
Okay, well, round starts 6-6B, 9 frames, manages to attack Darkhero at the start of this. But unfortunately, no conversion, but he does get a grid break throw.
And here's some of the... interesting. So, Darkhero chose to use Lin's force function to get out of the corner earlier, but though it's not working out for him in this particular case, that's actually an option I don't remember seeing enforced very often.
Yeah, I actually didn't know she had a way to police him like that. That's interesting. Oh wow, he actually blocks the force function. Wow, nasty trade. This is... Hanzo gets the Oki here. definitely won't be good. Oh, fortunately drops on the 6 XP there. It's kind of going back and forth right now.
I feel the neutral here is not really being played out the way that this matchup typically goes. Darkhero's going in very aggressively. This should actually do it.
Yeah, it should.
Ends the meter.
Yeah, just doing Icy Kuga there should send it off. So that's going to be a 2-0 for Darkhero.
Hanzo had ultimately a closer run playing Seth, but I can understand some days you just can't feel really high execution characters or characters who have unstable combo parts.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I know a few Seth players, and that's one of the things that they often struggle with is just maintaining, consistency with their conversions. And sometimes, you might even say to yourself, well, maybe I'll go for a slightly lower damage conversion that's more consistent. But since you haven't practiced it, it might be just as inconsistent for you.
Hanzo, Byakuya. What to say?
Here's the
I
set.
feel
It's on page.
These are new compared to. I don't think I've seen these on any given stream before, actually. Vorpal use, CS, grid breaks.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Okay, so if I can use this as some of the basis for commentary,
Yep.
I'll say I do feel it's reflected very well in these stats that throw was not being enforced very much by either player. Hanzo's throws were more effective since in most cases he got a grid break from them. He didn't go for any overheads at all, as I recall, besides...
Did a force function one time, but yeah.
But ultimately, I think what decided it was the neutral. Or rather, Darkhero was able to play most of his game without worrying too much about Byakuya's slight advantages in the matchup. Typically, Linne versus Byakuya is a bit hard for Linne because she doesn't have very safe methods of destroying webs at mid screen. A normals will not break webs, and her B normals are relatively stubby. So she typically, if she wants to break webs, and Kuga as well does not work. So she tends to have to rely on her C normals, including like 6C, 5C.
Yeah.
Is very easy for Byakuya to whiff punish. Though there wasn't any use of Byakuya-C here, I feel Hanzo basically allowed Darkhero to play neutral the way that he wanted, including Darkhero just running in a lot.
Yeah, there was a lot of just running in. There was a lot of dive kicks. There was just a lot of aggressive play. But, I mean, at the same time, it can be hard. Even if on paper it can be easy for your character to police certain options. In practice, it might be difficult.
Yes, of course. I feel like on the Byakuya side, I'd like to see a bit more 5A from Hanzo in these cases. Linne should not feel safe just running in so frequently without taking risks, either whether relying on something like her dash C, which leads to options where she's pretty much always minus, or also just specifically the mid-screen distance, roughly Byakuya 5C range and Linne 2C range. That distance and the spacing and the decisions there, I feel maybe should be a bit more active.
Yeah, I agree. But, I mean, the match, it was a bit volatile, but I think, that can sometimes be how it goes with short sets where you're not really sure of the other player's habits, so you're just kind of trying to enforce your game plan as much as possible.
Yes, of course. I don't any any criticism or comments I'm making are not meant to disparage any players. Just observations that I'm making over the course of the matches.
Oh yeah, of course.
I do like the stats here, though, especially vocal wins and CS
Um,
used.
next match is gonna be Borderlands versus Kuritani.
Okay, so we say so this is the next in let's see, quarterfinals,
Nope,
Uh,
we're still in round 2.
round 2.
Mhm.
So
all right, so next we're going to have Borderlands and Kuritani. I'm not familiar with either of these players, but I guess we will be soon.
I feel like I've
Borderlands is
heard.
a Merkava player. Kuritani is I actually don't know. So
I feel like I've heard the name Borderlands before. Maybe he's entered a tournament or two.
he has.
Kuritani, yeah, I can't say that I'm familiar with the name. NPM though, so sponsored, it might be. I can't tell anymore when sponsors are real and when they are squishes bathwater and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's become a little bit popular to just kind of have a tag next to your name that may or may not mean anything.
Yeah, so now at
Okay,
this point
easy.
I'm totally lost as far as sponsors.
All right, we're moving things forward. We can get things started. I'm so
we've
happy.
got players and yeah, Borderlands, as we were just told, Merkava player. If the Merkava icon was not a
You never know. With sometimes someone might have an icon for a totally different character.
yeah,
it
that's
looks
me.
like
I do
looks
the
like
same.
Kuritani is an Enkidu player.
Merkava and Kidu.
It's quite a polarizing matchup. Enkidu is definitely going to have to do a lot of work in neutral to get started, but at the same time, without meter, Merkava is going to have to respect a lot of his pressure.
I feel this matchup is one of many that people play up a bit much. This matchup is probably not quite even, but close enough that it's not really as much of a headache as people tend to make of it. That's a very consistent thing with Uni, I believe, is players essentially looking at something and saying one character has more range than the other, so automatically a bad matchup. But that first round,
Yeah, Kuritani managed to take it. He even looked pretty convincing there with his meaty counter. But unfortunately, it looks like Borderlands is making moves of his own, putting him in the corner, and but Kuritani managed to answer back off of the drop combo. Oh yeah, Merkava is very threatening in that range with 2B and 6B as well.
Good. Borderlands was quite aware that Ankidu dive kicks are never plus, and so took his turn back, though. Still having a bit of trouble handling Ankidu overheads.
Yes. But right now, we're just kind of playing a bit of neutral right now. Borderlands does have VO, so every throw, every hit is going to be doing more damage. And, oh wow, it gets hit by the last hit of Kidu's DP there. But he manages to clutch the round off with that VO bonus, giving his throws just enough juice to do a 2-touch there.
I have to wonder if Kuritani could have comboed off of that final hit off EXDP.
That's a good question. I'm sure my previous co-commentary, Frosty the Swole would definitely know the answer to that.
Yeah, it's a niche enough situation that not everyone will have labbed it, but I get the feeling you can get something off it. Okay,
Actually,
Borderlands.
I feel like
win
I've seen
vocal
some
for
tech to that extent, but looks like it's looking pretty even right now. Though Borderlands just got a hit, and I wonder if he's going to go for some Worm Oki here. Oh, doesn't. But it does a meaty dive kick, and with meter, that should be enough to take it. Yes.
It's always good to see players willing to blow their resources when they know it can kill. I feel like I don't see that quite enough, but good awareness on the part of Borderlands.
Yeah, always finish your plate if you can. But it looks like we're going to go right back into it. Hopefully Kuritani can maybe make some adjustments on just kind of being more respectful of Merkava's mid-range buttons. Alright, looks like Borderlands once again got the first hit here, but we're back to neutral. Oh, but gets hit by empty flight low, and Borderlands is going to have him in the corner.
As well as Warple advantage, back in the corner himself, but...
Yeah, he was able to get a side swap off the counter, but unfortunately he went a little too hard with the Rekka pressure, and I guess he didn't. I'm sure he meant to cancel that into EX shoulder, but unfortunately he wasn't able to. So Borderlands is going to take him all the way to the other corner and might finish it off.
That was fast.
Kuritani at the moment is kind of killing himself on the approach.
Yeah, he's definitely being a bit jumpy. I'd like to see him be a little more patient, but it seems that right now Borderlands has a pretty decisive advantage, and he's got the neutral game kind of the way he wants it at the moment. But Kuritani managed to get a hit there. Unfortunately, no conversion, but it is his turn right now.
Maintains the advantage with Borderlands.
Oh, that overhead. And, you know, Kuritani's got a lot of resources here. He's got Vorpal as well, so he could definitely extend his pressure for quite a long time.
He can finish this, takes this round.
Alright, so I'm wondering if the round start counter there was maybe to bait out Merkava with round start 4B, I assume.
Oh, walking back. Round start counter, that's pretty likely. Or round start just 5B.
Yeah. Just trying to get Borderlands to respect him at round start, but Borderlands going to get the first hit here. Yeah, I definitely want to see him, you know, spend meter there to get some warm Oki.
I think Borderlands is just...
That...
That's
Oh,
really good.
I get the feeling that Veiloff was probably just a slow on the... Let me phrase that a different way. I believe Borderlands was going for a CVO at the end there, but reacted to his situation a bit too late, and so he just got neutral Veiloff.
Yeah, that can happen.
The end result still, though, he takes it, I would say, pretty decisively. Outside of being pressured early on in the very beginning, he adjusted very quickly.
Yeah, there were maybe one or two hiccups that he made in the neutral, but I think once he kind of got a handle on it, he was looking pretty decisive, both in neutral and in pressure. So...
Alright. Is now up. Oh, let me change the pictures.
So the pictures are being updated, but it looks like Borderlands had a very decisive lead in terms of Vorpal wins, as well as the amount of times that he utilized chain shift.
You can really kind of... I think if we were to go back and review that match later on, it would be very apparent the difference in attempts at Vorpal control. I'm not sure if I saw Kuritani really attempt to use shield in a lot of cases, especially the cases where it's free to do so. Like dealing with Merkava from full screen, there's a lot of Merkava in attempting to keep you out and further than, we'll say, his 5B range or so, he tends to feed Grid and Vorpal to his opponents. Which is, I think, something Kuritani may have been... He would have been better off keeping a bit more aware of for the sake of helping his approach.
Just a producer's note here. There's a lot of time that Kuritani was winning Grid, but he chose to either backdash or get hit, and then he just ends up losing his Vorpal wins. That's what I noticed. They didn't hear me, by the way. Oh, wait, never mind. They did hear me. Just kidding.
But yeah, also, I think Borderlands had a pretty good situational awareness. There were a couple times that he concentrated to kind of secure that grid cycle when it was available to him. There was one time when he had his Worm Oki, and Kuritani managed to reset back to neutral, but he still had the worms on him, so Borderlands went ahead and did a quick Vorpal charge to go ahead and secure the cycle for himself.
And I had said as much before, but I think a lot of that match was ultimately decided by just by neutral. Borderlands kept the spacing he wanted, except for when he would get in, usually. And typically when he was going in, he got to go in on his terms. Though Merkava has the potential for a lot of setups once he's gotten a knockdown on you, and he's got Worm Oki set up. We didn't really see too much of it. It didn't end up being very important to the end result, though.
I think he attempted to go for it a couple times, but there was one or two times where he actually dropped the ender. But at the same time, Kuritani kind of was being a little too aggressive on his wake up. There were a couple times where Borderlands would just, meaty with like dive kick or, something that he could have just, stood up and blocked. Unfortunately, he would get hit by that, and that would kind of, put him back in the same situation.
We're talking about another match where, in the end, patience is key, especially for a character like Ankiru, who doesn't have too many ways to force his way in without getting himself in a very good position first.
Yeah, patience is definitely the key on that character. Just, waiting for your turn and making sure that you're precise with how you're placing your buttons, because otherwise you're going to have a hard time. Okay, so next match is going to be Foxo42 versus Darkhero, Batista versus Line.
This is winner's quarters, correct? Okay, let's see how this goes. A lot of what I'd said before I think does apply here. Fox is very good at utilizing Batista's gem pressure. So it all depends on how well his opponents know how to deal with it.
I mean, his gem pressure, he uses that too, but I really think that Fox's, I think his best strength is he plays neutral very well. He utilizes Batista's neutral strength in order to, kind of put his opponent in kind of like a checkmate situation where they're forced to make a hard decision to get out of it in neutral. And from there, he can kind of police his opponent's options as they kind of cycle through them. But Darkhero managed to get a really decisive hit here. And unfortunately, there was a pretty key drop there, and Foxo was able to get out of it and gets a throw for the end of the round.
I'm noticing, though Darkhero is doing a good job of taking advantage of Linne's force function to get out of corner pressure in particular, the same way he did before versus Hanzo. Maybe there's a little too much reliance on it at the moment.
Yeah, I really want to see a little bit more patience from him, because right now he's got Vorpal, so he could just kind of wait, put himself in a position where he could either, you know, do CSDP or, you know, CS Hien, C Hien, and, you know, kind of brute force his way in that way, but unfortunately he's being a little too impatient, and Foxov is taking advantage of it. He's going to go ahead and go for C Orb here, and didn't go for a drill setup, but unfortunately Darkhero bit on some gem pressure there, and that's going to be our first round. I mean, our first set.
So, what I'm seeing here, what I'd like to see here, we saw just a brief glimpse of it in the previous round, previous game. So, the Batista-Linne matchup, again, going back to spacing, Linne is one of the handful of characters whose run speed is fast enough to make Batista second guess herself when placing most gems, as well as playing her sort of red light, green light game.
But, yeah,
At mid-screen, there are cases where Batista will want to place a gem, and then against most other characters, she can, on reaction, press 5A or a button to set off that gem. But Linne's general walk speed is good enough that she can make it hard to react just by dashing in, and or her back walk speed is decent enough that she can basically force whiff punishes on gems, as strange as that may sound.
Yeah. So right now, Foxov is taking Darkhero to the corner, and there was a drop there, but he still manages to clutch that round out. But the main thing I really want to see from Darkhero is Foxov. He typically, sometimes he'll go for a round start like more of a zoning start, where he might do a like round start backdash, place a gem, and then go for a laser too. And that's essentially a free grid scenario for the opposing player, and unfortunately Darkhero hasn't really been taking advantage of it Vorpal wise.
This looks... I'll give credit to Fox for recognizing that he was likely to drop at one point and choosing to just disengage rather than go for a combo that may have lost him all of the momentum.
Yeah, it's good awareness to have if, you know, you can reset the neutral scenario where you're still at advantage rather than forcing it and maybe getting a drop that'll cost you. It's definitely a good skill to have, especially in a net play environment where sometimes it may be hard to have 100% consistency. But yeah, Foxov is going to take that over Darkhero, and we're going to be moving on to our next match.
So, if we are going in order with everything else being streamed, we've got... This name is a bit too long, so let me see. Oh, I see. Okay, so our opponent, it looks like, will be 202nd best Akatsuki.
I think that's GG.
I had the feeling it was.
Yeah, I see
Borderlands.
Jushichi. I believe he's I saw him playing Nanase earlier, but I don't know if he's going to play Akatsuki, if he's going to play Orie. He has a couple characters, so...
Earlier we saw him playing Nanase. Yeah, I know he's got at least 3 characters that he has an understanding of. With a name like that, I would assume he'll use Akatsuki, but you never know.
Yeah, that might just be, like I said, you never know if they're serious about it or if that's just part of an in-joke. But he's going to be playing against Borderlands, so either way, it's really going to come down to how he approaches the neutral situations and how he controls and leverages his Vorpal to kind of police Merkava in neutral.
Yes. Thinking about Jushichi's character roster.
I mean, I would say if we were just playing like a counter pick game, I would say that Orie would be your best bet here. But at the same time, I think with his character comfortability with Akatsuki, that might be his strongest choice in terms of just, being able to make clutch decisions and be comfortable with his character. But at the same time, we don't know what we're going to see until we see it. And yes, it looks like he will be going with Akatsuki. Yeah, it's definitely an uphill battle in neutral for Akatsuki, but once he gets in, obviously Akatsuki's pressure game is extremely strong, so it'll be up to Borderlands to have a solid defense. Alright, looks like she's going to get started here, going to take Borderlands to the corner.
Okay, Akatsuki pressure time.
Oh wow, but Borderlands, mashes out with a dive kick, and oh wow, Jushichi goes for a DP there, but unfortunately Borderlands doesn't get a good punish.
More dive kicks though.
Yeah, well, Borderlands seems to favor that dive kick option, but at the same time, he hasn't really been punished for it yet, so it's working,
That said, the reward he's getting off of his dive kicks is low enough that Jushichi can kind of afford to take that gamble.
Yes, I would say that it would be in his service to improve the damage that he's getting off of that if he's going to be employing it so much. Jushichi again is going to be taking him to the corner and gets a throw. It's looking really good for him in the Vorpal cycle right now.
I can't help but wonder what the connection quality here is, but I guess since there's nothing that can be done about it either way. Only certain Merkava overhits that are making me raise an eyebrow.
Yeah, that's always something that happens in a net play tournament. But at the same time, it's up to the players to kind of adapt the connection quality and see what they can do about it. But at the same time, right now we've got Borderlands taking Jushichi to the corner, and unfortunately he is grid broken, so he's not going to really have any way of contesting the cycle. Oh, I might have spoke too soon. Some very smart shielding from Jushichi there, along with a really good counter, have swung it in his favor.
Because spacing that Borderlands is doing neutral dive kick, or I guess jump back dive kick at. And I'm wondering what specific option from Jushichi he must be baiting out.
I don't know if that might, I don't think he would beat out his DP, so maybe he's trying to stop Bitatsu Abare there.
It's this spacing right about now. Well, right before the bite, that was.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good question. That might be a fireball punish. A preemptive call out on a fireball, perhaps. But, all right, we went back to we're going back to the second set.
Is Jushichi going to stick with Akatsuki?
I think he will, yeah.
He's sticking to his guns.
I mean, I think he was looking pretty good in a lot of portions, and just, things kind of got out of hand a few times. I think he just needs to be a little more mindful about Merkaba's kind of disrespectful options and maybe police them a bit more. Borderlands is going to get the hit here, but Jushichi can leverage, wake up CS here. Oh, and he does, and just kind of wakes up 5A. Oh, I really do like the patience there from Jushichi, where he just kind of waited for a moment and then committed to his Bitatsu. Because Borderlands does have 100 meters, so he could have definitely woken up with 63C. Oh wow, Borderlands just kind of snags the Vorpal cycle there just at the end. Oh wow, and Jushichi go ahead and commits to another Bitatsu here.
Yeah, Borderlands ended up in a position where, since Jushichi was also at neutral, there wasn't a lot of benefit to his CS, so he ended up in a bad enough situation. Ooh. I like the attempt to pick up off of that, what was it, 4B that traded? But...
Jushichi definitely is looking a lot more posed right now, but Borderlands does get a hit here. I do like the respect that he gave Jushichi there, recognizing that at his health it would be very dangerous for him to eat a B reversal. But
he does not have to. Yes, he did not need to take any major risks. He had the life lead, he had the Vorpal lead, and since it was Borderlands, it was his... pretty much all the obligation was on Borderlands to try and steal the game back, but... Okay, so that is 1-1.
alright, yeah, Jushichi definitely made a pretty significant adjustment in that set, and it paid off for him. We'll see if Borderlands can as well, see if he can bring back some of the first set. I really do like the patience from Jushichi there. Of course, he does get the throw there. As soon as I said that, he goes for it. That's one of the rough things about Universal is that it's really just kind of a Hail Mary, so you're really mentally, your DPs just aren't going in your favor. But wow, he gets a really good Itatsu 2A there, and Tron could definitely go his way if he puts the pressure on. He does. Yeah, it's looking at him. He's got 200 meter, he's got Vorpal. Wow, it goes to 6B. Oh yeah, this should do it. Akatsuki is an extremely explosive character. You really have to be on your guard with his actually, that's one of the things that I've been saying is that I really haven't seen that before.
You have to do it outside.
Yes.
Most of the cast do have answers to it. Sometimes you just really ought to pull that trigger. 236C is designed the way it is for a reason. mostly invincible reversal, very safe on block. Takes a lot of effort on the part of the other player to play around it. So you need to be able to, you have to be willing to enforce that from time to time, or people will just attempt to walk over you.
And then just like the input structure of the move, going from down back to 2-3-6 is a lot easier than going from down back to 6-2-3. So it's a lot easier to kind of put in gaps in your opponent's pressure without having to worry too much about yourself being maybe stagger attempts. But Jushichi had a decisive lead in the Vorpal wins as well as the CSUs. He leveraged it pretty well to extend his pressure with Bitatsu and other options. He also threw 5 times compared to Borderlands 1, so that was definitely something that we saw not really being leveraged too much in other matches, but Jushichi definitely did.
Being fair, at the same time, since Jushichi was playing so actively in the way he chose to use his shield, most of his use of CS, that did also translate into him getting grid broken 3 times.
Yes.
Which is just part of the nature of the game. The shield system is designed entirely around players reading each other's intent, and so occasionally you get red and it happens.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's the nature of the game. Yeah, you'll get grid broken, but it's definitely better to at least, display that you have an active defense, that your opponent will then take steps to, police it, rather than the opposite, which, you won't be able to win Vorpal nearly as much on defense because you won't be able to take advantage of the shield opportunities that there might be.
The matches they played, I feel, were the first I've seen in some time of someone attempting and mostly successfully using shield in the right places in that matchup. There were several times I saw Jushichi he pretty much attempted to shield every Merkava fireball. Occasionally, attempts for, I'm not sure what the move is actually called, but people tend, call it abduction and that sort of thing. The full screen grab.
Oh yeah, Merkava's 2-4-A.
Yes. I think from Borderlands side, it is not that easy for Merkava to successfully use shield when Akatsuki has gotten in. It's very dangerous, especially since his defensive options outside of his reversal are usually they're a little slower, and so Akatsuki has means of just breaking through them. I think mostly what I would have liked to see from Borderlands there was, mostly pressing his advantage when he has worms in more effective ways. Is not really a super polite way to say it. Not that I mean it rudely, but oftentimes it was that he would get worms and then mostly just rely on the frame advantage rather than the opportunities that it really grants Merkava.
Yeah, I definitely think that it would have been in his benefit to use that time to maybe do some, at least, display that he had some setups so that Jushichi was going to have to, perhaps take a guess there instead of just waiting for the frame advantage to expire. But we're going to be moving on to Kuritani versus Ruffled Crab. So I believe Enkidu versus Hyde.
Yes. So, Enkidu Hyde. I think this is actually a pretty simple matchup. I don't feel like this is actually terrible in either character's case. The nature of Hyde being the main character is that almost every character tends to be designed with Hyde's toolset in mind. And so everyone tends to have at least some basic means of fighting against all of Hyde's tools. So,
yeah, I agree. So right now, Ruffle has Kuritani in the corner. Wow, he went for the ICFF there. Kuritani blocks it. Using his meter to... That was interesting. He went for the... Used his meter to get a pressure extension, then he backed off with backdash. Perhaps he was baiting a DP or something else. Oh, wow, round start force... Oh, he does it again. Interesting.
Well, if it works, all you can do is keep on doing it. Just to see how they learn to deal with it.
Oh yeah, if you have an option, the goal is to make your opponent, you know, respond to it. So if they're not responding to it, well, I guess, you know, you're still at option one.
Yeah, if layer 1 is working, just stick with it. So Kuritani, going off of this, needs to he needs to figure out his options for dealing with Hide Fireball, and yeah, mostly just be willing to block Force Function, since doing anything else is a bit of an unnecessary risk.
Yeah, I would definitely, and the other thing is that when you block Force Function, it is his Force Function, so he's going to be spending Grid to go for that. So if you just kind of sit there and let him do it a couple times, you're going to be in a really good way to win the next Oracle cycle. So we'll see what happens.
I'd like to see Kuritani shielding the easy stuff like fireballs. Yeah, Ruffled Crab is, I think, not really worrying too much about earning Oracle. It's just kind of coming his way.
Yeah, both players are playing very aggressively right now. With not a lot of respect shown to either side, but we'll see if they perhaps calm down later in the set. Oh, and then Crab goes for a Pale Bringer. Unfortunately, Kuritani was not pressing anything, so he goes ahead and punishes it for the round.
Definitely a mistake high players do with a lot early on that may have been an attempt at the X Orbiter.
That's definitely true. With the way the game reads inputs, that can be a problem I can have. You always want to pause for a moment so that the game only reads 2-3-6 instead of anything else.
Since he was walking backwards, it's a pretty common hide mistake to get that half circle forward if you are. I respect the answer there. And, wow.
I think that time was, he meant to do the Pale Bringer that time, but Kuritani again was not really in a position to get hit by it, so Kuritani is going to take that. That was a very fast set.
These are very knockdown, drag-out matches. Well, not drag-out, but knockdown.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when both players are playing fast, you know, matches are going to end that way. But both players have so far been playing very aggressively. We'll see if they, you know, keep that going, or maybe if there'll be a shift towards, you know, a bit more respect. Yeah, so
Amare on Kuritani's at that distance. I'm not sure if they noticed hide whipping normal or just felt that you ought to push a button in there, but it worked out.
Oh yeah, it definitely worked out in his favor. It's a bit of a brawl right now. I really want to see Kuritani shield some of these fireballs, secure himself the grid cycle. But he does manage to get in here, and it's looking pretty good for him right now. He's got a lot of meter, and he's got CS. He chooses to go for a To Evo conversion here. This isn't going to kill, but he is in one-touch range now.
As much as I didn't really like that decision-making, in the end, if Ruffled Crab had survived, Kuritani landed another hit, he would have earned World back anyway. So.
Alright, wow, that's bail off. And Ruffle Crab then goes for another Wake Up Reversal. Unfortunately, does not punish the counter. So yeah, both players are just playing really aggressively here. Kuritani gets the hit again, and it's looking... Yep, just goes for the meaty. It's just a really fast-paced neutral going on, but can't count either character out. Hyde does do a lot of damage, even without a lot of meter. And, oh, this... Oh, with the drop. Okay.
Good reactive
Yeah,
DP in this case. A bad habit I notice a lot of players fall into, and I think I saw this at the very end, which may have done Ruffled Crab in, is this is more common in air dashers, but you definitely see some overlap in Uni, where a player will jump backwards and then air dash, or in this case, assault forward, and there's a time and place for it. But, in this case, with his back to the wall, I think it was a little too apparent what Ruffled Crab was going to go for, and Kuritani saw the writing on the wall and just knew he could DP right there.
Yeah, you really just got to be careful in Eunice if you're playing most characters, because there really aren't a lot of air options that you can take. So if your opponent sees you in the air and you're not playing a character that has a good way of controlling themselves, you pretty much just signal to your opponent that they've got an opening.
Vorpal and chain shift usage was about even between these two. I don't know if I can say chain shift use was... I feel like chain shift wasn't used very often here outside of in a defensive sense. They didn't tend to use it for meter gain, or they especially did not seem to use it for continuing pressure.
Yeah, I definitely want to see some more Vorpal awareness from both players. There were times where I think if one of them had just kind of backed off on their pressure a little bit, they could have had a much more safer way of securing the cycle. But sometimes, you know, when you're playing, the adrenaline can get to you, and you're not really thinking about everything at once.
Of course. When you look at the Vorpal contests between the two, I believe if Ruffled Crab was not relying on force function so much in the first game, they probably would have both earned Vorpal the same amount of times.
Yes.
Okay, so next we have...
I think we have Airco and Hanzo. But yeah, so Hanzo versus Airco is going to be Batista versus either Seth or Byakuya. It'll be interesting to see which character he goes with.
A new sacrifice comes to you.
And it'll also be interesting to see how Airco's Batista play differs from Fox's Batista play, because it's a very unique character, so there's really a lot of chance for a player's own unique playstyle to shine through.
It's been some time since I last remember playing Airco, but I remember at the time feeling his Batista play is a bit more passive. Fox is definitely a much more aggressive Batista who seems to have structured her pressure more, and Airco seems to be more interested in neutral interactions rather than going in my memory. Hanzo choosing to go with Byakuya here.
Okay, so I'm always interested to see with Byakuya what the round start is like, because I feel like, with 6-6B, he has such a really powerful way of, starting his pressure. Though at the same time, I do think Batista has think her 6-6B also kind of trades with it, so it'll be interesting to see. But already Airco's starting off with some neutral lasers and orbs. Well, but Hanzo managed to go ahead and get that first hit.
I feel personally that Darkhero's round start options tend to be a bit lacking. Dash B would be good if Batista did not have a lot of incentive to simply jump back and get closer to matchups.
I agree, but right now it looks like while Airco did get hit first, he looks like he's got a pretty domineering neutral at the moment. Unfortunately, a misplaced ward there is going to give Hanzo his turn. Oh wow, that flash kick was very risky, and unfortunately, yep, Hanzo's going to take it off of that.
I think whiffing that flash hit ultimately decided the whole thing.
Yeah, it pretty much sealed the deal. We'll see, you know. Oh, wow, that was very risky 6-6C there.
Airco choosing to put himself back at full screen rather than actually attempt to fight in this case. Which,
yeah, I don't really agree with the way that he's just kind of letting Hanzo with a good cycle, because Byakuya definitely not a character you want to give you Oracle to, and looks like Hanzo's going to go ahead and set up here. Throws him in the web for another setup. Unfortunately, he drops it so he doesn't get the web setup, but he's still not looking good for Airco right now.
So now the ball is in Airco's part to attempt to win the likely at the very least.
Alright, well, if he gets a good conversion here, he'll definitely be moving into the right ballpark. Unfortunately, he doesn't spend any cash there, so... Oh yeah, that throw is going to do it though. Now it's the ball in Hanzo's court to get a hit before he's got 5 seconds.
Good throw tech.
Oh yeah, that throw attack's going to do it. That was a very crucial throw attack for Airco right there.
And he chose to play defensively in the last 10 seconds, which was really, I think, the best play.
Oh, definitely. With Batista in that situation, it's very hard to get that last hit that you need to close out the round.
Airco's pulling it together.
Oh yeah, there was definitely, right in that round, there was a bit more of a neutral shift towards being a bit more aggressive, and it seemed to work out for him. So we'll see if Hanzo also makes an adjustment coming into this next set coming up.
He chooses to stick with Byakuya.
Yeah, I think the Byakuya, it's looking good for him. I think it's working out. Just, you know, I really just want to see him in neutral. Just, you know, if Airco is going to be committed to going for that more zoning playstyle, just kind of take your grid and wait for your opportunity instead of trying to force it. Like I really want to see him shielding these lasers and these orbs. Unfortunately, there we go. There's one. Unfortunately, I don't know what he's doing to get hit by those lasers, unfortunately.
Though in the end, it does still come down to reads. There are definitely certain scenarios where you should be expecting a laser from Batista. Oh, Airco misses a gem setup, but it doesn't matter. EX, but he missed a gem setup, and the timing was just right for Hanzo to throw him back in the corner. He wasn't able to capitalize on
But yeah, so Airco is going to be continuing to take Hanzo towards the corner, though. I don't know why Hanzo went with 2A there. in that situation with Batista's gem pressure, you're usually better off just waiting for a different opportunity to come on wake up. Okay, well, that assault could be very decisive if he manages to secure Smokey here. Okay, webs out. Okay, that force function might also, you know, unfortunately he drops it. And in this situation, Darkhero's got, you know, balls in his court right now. He can do pretty much what he wants. And it's up to Hanzo to get in, but unfortunately he gets tagged by Gem here, and that should do it. Oh, wow. Yep.
Yeah, the X flash kick, 4-frame startup.
4-frame startup, very high minimum damage, and yeah, it looks like Eriko is going to be taking that 2-0.
It looked a bit scary for him at the very beginning, but I think once he figured out that there wasn't, he was probably overthinking a lot of the scenarios once Hanzo got pressure started, and yeah.
Well, Eriko is a Georgia player, so he does play with that guy a lot, who is a very good Byakuya player. So sometimes when you're familiar with a matchup from a certain player's perspective, you know, you might be looking for certain situations to present itself that another player might not be thinking about. So especially in, you know, that first round, that might have been what happened.
So from here, we have what, 6 left in 6 players left here.
Yeah. So looking at the stats right here, it looked like Eriko had a slight lead on Vorpal, but it wasn't particularly decisive. Both players, there was a pretty overall low amount of throws from both sides. Eriko did manage to get that 1 or 2 really decisive throw attacks that swung the grid back in his favor.
More overall use from Eriko on CS. Though I'll say Byakuya in this matchup, I think, has only a few scenarios where using chain shift is really particularly good for him. Mostly connecting with this force function, certain uses on defense that will allow, like gaps that will allow him to use his reversal to get out. While Batista's uses of it are pretty much standard, the same way she would use it on anyone else. Setups that allow her to go for drill, use of a defensive flash kick, and that's really most of it most of the time, whether it's doing things like crouching force function or her dash C to leave people in enough blocks and for her to go for drill setups, or at least enforce that 50-50.
Yeah. But, I mean, I definitely feel like for Hanzo, the takeaway is, there were a couple hiccups he had in neutral, but I think the main thing is just that when he did have his webs out, when he did get that hit, you felt like it could have been a little bit more decisive with how he enforced, you know, the situation to his advantage. But it looks like we're going to be going into the next match, which is Darkhero versus Kuritani.
Yeah, we're hopping right into it. So, Darkhero, Kuritani. What to say?
I feel like Darkhero, I feel like he's going to have a pretty good advantage here just from Kuritani is very aggressive from what we've seen, and while Darkhero definitely has the ability to play in that manner, I do think he has the patience to kind of put a handle on it. Like right there, really good use of defensive CS. Unfortunately, Kuritani gets a hit here. Really good awareness on the Icy Coup.
I still feel, comparatively, Kuritani is not really attempting to use chain shift at all. If Darkhero focuses on earning Vorpal, then he's going to have a very big advantage compared to Kuritani, who I'm still not seeing use shield very often, isn't really utilizing chain shift in aggressive or defensive ways so far. Oh, Lin force function to dodge the overhead from Ankido.
Yeah, it's a good option to have awareness from. But yeah, I definitely see that Darkhero is putting effort into using and leveraging his Vorpal, whereas I don't really see Kuritani going after it too much.
I would say that was assault low, but Lin 2A does not hit low, so
Yeah.
Kuritani was probably attempting to buffer a parry or a reversal, if I had to guess.
Yeah, or perhaps stand teching. But yeah, it was pretty quick and decisive for Darkhero. We'll see if Kuritani makes an adjustment. And also, I feel like Darkhero is exploiting Kuritani's. He's a bit jumpy and neutral, and Darkhero seems to be content to just kind of sit at a certain space and toss out some jumping Kuga and maybe, you know, a non-committal 2C, just see if he bites on that.
If Darkhero were playing almost any other character, he would probably have a very easy time convincing Kuritani that jumping is a bad idea, but
Yeah, Line.
anti-air options are a bit committal.
Well, honestly, I feel like a lot of times with Line, you'll see a lot of air-to-airs, like you might see Line player jump up with her own J to kind of stuff that kind of approach. But yeah, her force function is a very powerful defensive anti-air, but you can't really use it. You can't use it in every situation, but Darkhero seems to be looking pretty comfortable here.
He lands the overhead and gets a good
Yeah. You definitely want to be careful about overzealous shielding against characters that have multiple overheads. Very, very challenging 2A from Kuritani there, and gets his turn back.
Another case standoff we ended up in just now would have probably been to Kuritani's advantage. He chose to use his Vorpal, but
Yes, I think it would have been a great idea if he would have go ahead and chain shift there. He probably would have gotten his EX counter off and maybe shifted some momentum his way. But it looks like Darkhero is going to be taking that 2-0, and we're going to be moving on to the next match after we see the stats.
A new sacrifice comes to you.
Oh yeah.
yep, sometimes they go really fast, sometimes they're a bit more methodical.
Yeah, it's really just kind of a clash of playstyles. If you've got two players that are, if you've got a player that is, you know, aggressive versus a player that's, you know, also aggressive or more defensive, it can be just kind of a test to see which player is getting hit. But if two players are more defensive, it can just kind of be a bit of a slog as we wait for Vorpal to pop. And yeah, we got the stats. It's 6-2 on Vorpal wins. Darkhero definitely had a pretty decisive advantage in terms of confirming his grid and turning it into a Vorpal cycle win.
Yes, definitely. I do feel both players, well, Kuritani, I'm not certain thinking about it if I've seen Kuritani land a single throw attempt across all of his games. This previous set, just now, I saw one throw whiff, but yeah, I feel like throw needs to be enforced a little bit more. Even if I know there's surely someone either watching or who will be watching at a later point who will complain about Anki to throw, you still have to enforce the threat.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, even there's a couple times, of course, where he was on the corner, and at that point, it's not resetting to neutral anymore. And once you've got your opponent to say, "Hey, I'm going to sit here and maybe wait for you to go ahead and toss an overhead at me, so I can take my turn," that's a great time for you to say, "Hey, I'll throw you," and force you to display, what options you're going to be showing me against that.
Yeah, we're all set with the stats.
All set with the stats.
Next is Erko Batista, Borderlands Merkaba.
So, yeah, I honestly can't say I've seen this matchup before.
This was a very common matchup back in UniL, less so in Unis since both characters fell off a bit in popularity. But this is not. I'm not about to say that it's one of Batista's bad matchups, but it is one of Batista's.
Would you maybe say that it's a matchup where Batista has to change her game plan a bit to adjust to the character?
Yes, it is a more challenging, unorthodox matchup compared to some of the others.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. With Merkaba, the way that Merkaba plays neutral is very unique, so every character kind of has to figure out their own way to deal with it, and we'll see how Erko does it.
Gem minefields do work. Merkaba can't just completely force his way through without any effort, but
yeah,
there's a range that Batista normally gets to control fairly freely.
Yeah, there's definitely a range that Batista normally can just say, hey, there's not really much you can do. It's low risk for me to commit to stuff here, and you kind of have to hold that. Whereas Merkaba can always, hit 2-4C or go into flight and kind of challenge those options. But right now, Erko's got he's got a pretty good lead. He does just get grid broken here, so we'll see if Borderlands manages to leverage that at all.
I feel like Borderlands maybe he's got Vorpal. He had managed to take the grid cycle. That was really his opportunity, but he watched the drill. In fact, I don't know if I really recommend Batista going for drill setups outside of very certain scenarios against Merkaba, because he's just so tall that it's very easy, I think, to...
Oh, yeah, I hadn't even thought about that.
He's so tall that attempting drill setups off of just a regular jump, you're so high up in the air that you get that situation just happening.
Yeah, Borderlands managed to clutch that round out. I do like the patience from Borderlands in neutral with how he was willing to just kind of stand there and shield Erko's zoning. But once again, Erko gets the first hit. We'll see if he can give it a little bit more momentum this time. Oh wow, that was very, very challenging to read from Erko.
While I don't think it was done on reaction, Borderlands, I don't know if it was a misinput or just he was calling something out, but he went for a charged 5C, which I don't normally see Merkaba do in pressure. I have to wonder what caused that to come out.
It's definitely something to think about, but once again, Erko definitely seems to have the neutral pretty good. He seems to understand, what adjustments he needs to make to deal with Merkaba. He's eaten 2 and 4X a couple times, but it seems like he's got a pretty good grasp of how he wants to approach the neutral game. Oh man. I really want to see Borderlands cash out with his meter whenever he can. Like right here, that's good. For
that pause into nothing.
Yeah, I guess he was trying to bait out flash kick, but if you're gonna bait out flash kick, you need a hard bait and commit to that. You definitely don't want to just kind of do some buns and just kind of try to go back to pressure. You know, I see potential from both players in this set. You know, I think Borderlands could definitely make an adjustment there. His pressure wasn't bad. I just think that he needs to be a little more safer when it comes to baiting out Batista's reversal options.
I know the timing does exist for Merkava to safe jump flash kicks. But it's I would expect it's probably very strange to figure out just due to the way that Merkava, Flight Oki, and stuff works.
We are going back into the next set here, and Eriko looking very comfortable, just kind of in neutral, waiting for Borderlands to come to him. He's going to get the first hit here. Does get hit, but he does have Oracle to leverage on Wake Up here. He does use it. It's smart. Okay, yeah, Eriko is getting hit by a lot of these 2 and 4As, and that's causing him to lose momentum in a lot of situations. Oh wow, yeah, he just went for a Hail Mary flash kick there, and Borderlands is going to take that round.
That feeling, though, when a bullet whizzes past your ear, that was very close to actually hitting.
Yeah, that was... I don't know if he knew the spacing there, or he just, you know, he felt confident, but it worked out for him, but it was definitely a very tense situation. Oh wow, I like that 2A stagger there. Ooh, okay.
Flipped his arm. It didn't get max damage, but it gave him the corner, which is more than good enough.
I'm liking these little aggressive shifts from Eriko, where his pressure kind of goes towards... yeah. Where he's kind of being a little bit more aggressive. It's interesting to see. And right now, Borderlands is kind of stuck in the corner because he doesn't have any meter to challenge out. He's gonna win this Vorpal cycle. I like the determination on defense to keep shielding these projectiles. One thing I do think that might help him is if he's going to commit to shielding at that range, he might want to do 1 AD instead of pressing 1D, because that'll eliminate the possibility of him getting those green shields, which are sometimes killing his grid.
It's a throw, he's got the life lead, so he could afford to run away, but it was not too unsafe to just go for the falling jump B as he did there.
Yeah.
With 10 seconds left on the clock, it really wouldn't be a big deal to just throw fireballs and such and force Batista to try to approach, because it's honestly the thing she's worst at.
Definitely. Yeah, Batista definitely wants you to have you in a situation where she has life lead and you're forced to come to her rather than the other way around.
Good adjustments on both sides so far. I'm not sure if they're necessarily adapting to each other, but they are. Just they both made a shift in their overall playstyles.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm definitely liking the back and forth between these two players. It's interesting to see. Oh wow, that was very clutch. Oracle win for Eriko there.
It occurs to me now, watching Borderlands, I don't know if I've been seeing him use Merkava dash B as pressure so far.
That is true. I don't think we've seen it from him. That is obviously a very powerful option.
He's on the verge of winning Vorpal, and Darkhero gives it to him.
Darkhero is definitely bleeding a lot of grid between these projectiles and backdashes.
Good assault right over
Good
the
assault.
first
Yeah, good assault. Wake up Seadrill.
gets flash kick for it.
Oh, wow, too high to get hit. Oh, wow, this could be a really crucial... Oh, wow, I think he could have spent some meter there to get a more solid knockdown.
If he used meter, he would have kept Echo in the corner. Now, with the situation reversed, let's hope he's going to use his reversal.
Yeah, I mean, he's got CS, so, yep, okay. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. Interesting.
Good choice, actually.
Yeah, I mean, that clutched him out the round.
Yeah, that was Merkaba's his BDP.
Yeah, his BDP. But I mean, I didn't know that you, I didn't know that it worked like that. Interesting. But, wow, he gets a pretty big rib break on Airco here, and he's taken to the corner, spends maybe some cash with Gormoki.
Drops 3C though, and gets punished.
So this could end up being a crucial drop. Oh, I don't know why Airco threw him out of the corner.
Same.
But, we'll see. Airco still has a bit of a life lead here, so he gets to force Borderlands to come to him. Unfortunately, Borderlands is going to get the hit here and kind of even that lead out. Oh, wow, VO. Still a really tense situation for Borderlands here. He needs to be very careful. One hit from Batista here could do it. Or, you know, 2 chips of the laser. Oh, he gets a hit here. I don't think this is going to kill, but it's going to definitely put him in one-touch range.
Yeah, if it worked EX, I believe will not kill.
I don't think it's going to kill. I don't think so.
With a sliver.
Yeah, with the sliver. Like I said, one-touch range. And now it's up to Airco to be really careful. 1, 2, 3, 6A is going to. I mean, 1, 2, and 4A will do it.
This would be a good.
Oh, the trade. Normally, you think of Batista as a character who doesn't care about trades, but in that situation.
That was a very close set of games.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I feel like that really could have gone either way because I don't think either player really had figured out the other by the end.
No, they were both kind of feeling it out and testing the waters and just kind of run their game plans. But there was definitely some good awareness and patience for both players. So good stuff. I'm definitely interested to see the stats because I definitely feel like both players here were very much aware of the Vorpal cycle and trying to leverage it to their advantage. Alright, so we're going to be checking out the stats here. Wow, we had a lot of... Since it went down to the last round, we've got a lot of Vorpal cycles going on here. So Borderlands clutched out with 3 total.
Overall, I feel like this is... these stats, I think, do indicate a better understanding of system mechanics and more enforcement of them than what we've been seeing, just due to the... as well as the fact that the games went on oftentimes late into the timer, 30 seconds to 10 seconds, more than once. So Vorpal ended up changing hands a lot. I feel even though Borderlands won Vorpal more often, some of that was in part due to just the nature of the neutral between these two.
Yeah, though at the same time, I felt like there were a couple times where Airco just kind of gave him, for lack of a better term, just kind of gave him the Vorpal cycle with some backdashes and maybe 1 too many fireballs where Borderlands just kind of stood there and took the cycle win.
I agree with you. What I'll say though is as pivotal as Vorpal is to overall success, there are definitely times where you'll recognize that you are about to lose it, and the risk in continuing to fight for it, sometimes just isn't worth comparatively just giving it up and giving yourself better positioning, or just
Yeah. Though at
choosing
the same
to-
time, I feel like in this matchup, you know, positioning is very relative because, as I was saying earlier, at any point, you know, Merkava can press 2 and 4A and he can get started. And I feel like there was a lot of times where Airco lost momentum because he wasn't policing or being aware enough of that option and shutting it down.
So now we have winners final. Winners side. Fox of 42 and 202nd Vestikatsuki, aka Jushichi.
Yeah, this should be a very interesting match, especially if Jushichi keeps on Akatsuki. I'm definitely interested to see the neutral interaction between these two because both players are very strong and have a very good awareness of the Vorpal cycle. So it'll be interesting to see how Foxo alters his neutral game plan to deal with Akatsuki's, you know, unique ways of affecting the cycle with his parry and also his powerful dash block.
I think once again, a lot of this is going to come down to how familiar Jushichi is with Batista gem pressure and where the actual gaps are. Foxo is using gems in a very... how to say this? It's not that he's using them in a flowchart fashion, but he does have I'm noticing a series of gem sets that he seems to do consistently because he recognizes the risk is fairly low and the reward seems pretty high.
I agree. There's definitely some portions where he actually goes over the gem count, and not everybody has the awareness to recognize that that's their turn. But oh wow, that was a very interesting scramble situation there. But Jushichi manages to clutch it out.
So currently Jushichi is shielding in the right places. Turning Vorpal pretty decisively. Ooh, that jump too soon. Despite the fact that I had the feeling he was going to do it, didn't seem like there wasn't there was much that could be done about it.
But at the same time, I definitely like I was saying before, when you're neutral against characters that have very fast projectiles, it can be better to use the 1 AD instead of 1D because that'll prevent you from getting green shields. Because if you do whiff a green shield, you're going to lose grid instead of gaining it in neutral. Jushichi is definitely leveraging his parry here to, you know, make Foxo respect him. But wow, Fox! Ooh, I definitely like that. You don't want to block that.
If that jump, if Batista could be counter hit, that jump B would have done it. But unfortunately, she cannot.
Yeah, that's definitely something that you need to think about as an Akatsuki player. Is, you know, how there's definitely a couple routes that you want to hit counter hit, but it's not gonna matter on Batista. Oh, yeah, you gotta be careful shielding that. That's really the Akatsuki special there.
Sometimes you just have to gamble it.
Really liking Jushichi's patience here.
That said, Fox is actually doing a good job of scanning for...
Right as you said that, right?
Fox is doing a good job of dashing in and then waiting to see exactly what Jushichi's throw countermeasures are, we'll say. He's OS mode. And he is, there have been a few cases where he's dashed up to see Jushichi do a very delayed 180. Though he hasn't quite been able to exploit it more, like, enough. He had some success at the very beginning of the round.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see. Foxo is definitely playing a different neutral game than he normally plays against Jushichi here. Shishi is being very decisive and aggressive in these neutral situations. Is this gonna do it? No, no, okay.
Oh.
I was gonna say, I think an IWX there would have done it. I mean, yeah, an IWX or a IW.
With that ender, it wasn't possible, I believe, at that point, for him to use his meter effectively. Good throw bait at the end. He walked forward patiently into backdash, dash forward, throw.
Yeah. Alright, this is first 3, I believe, so there's definitely a lot of time for both players to get used to each other and make some adjustments.
I'm looking forward to seeing the stats after this, actually.
Definitely be interesting. Both players are very in tune with the system mechanics. Ah, I like that. So Jushichi, I'm liking the way Jushichi is structuring his pressure. He's being very respectful of both the vorpal cycle and Fox of his flash kick.
I'm seeing... Ah, okay.
Yeah. Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah, that was about to happen. You're in midair.
Yeah,
it's changed the thing.
Definitely. There's not much you can do about that, but Jushichi is definitely, you know, looking very comfortable here with his, with being decisive on, you know, making the right reads on Foxo's defense.
Similarly, I feel like Fox is very scared of being cornered by Akatsuki, which...
Understandably.
Yeah, that is granted true of anyone, but... I feel Batista is not exactly in a bad way, so he needs to probably be willing to take
a few more risks. Oh wow, the neutral is becoming very, very interesting as this develops. But Jushichi here manages to get a really good hit with EX Fireball. Not going to quite go all the way to the corner, but Foxo does back tech. And alright, looks like he's going to be putting Jushichi in the corner here. Off of, oh yeah, drill under. Well, again, once again, he just kind of said, hey, I'm just going to backdash and wait it out.
I would say he recognized he had a life lead. He still has that life lead despite being clipped by Utatsu.
Oh wow, parry. Unfortunately, he was in the jumping animation, nothing you can do. Oh, and that's it. Yeah, I think Jushichi wanted to go once again for the jump up air assault over the C volleyball there, but it wasn't working out.
In this case, I'm pretty confident he wanted to jump forward and parry the ball. Which is actually one of the hardest options for Batista to fight against if Akatsuki happens to do it.
Yeah, I keep forgetting he can't air parry the whole thing. That would be quite the feat on net play.
The timing isn't actually very difficult outside of landing the very first parry. He chose, I think, to jump into it and do a slightly delayed input, hoping that he would either block it or parry it, but he probably needed to just go for it immediately.
I'm interested to see what happened there with that wake-up throw from Foxo getting Jushichi's shield. I think that might have been a misinput somehow. Oh, that's good. That's gonna do it.
Good foresight on jumping forward, jump A to intercept Jushichi's approach.
Oh yeah, but I mean, it's looking, these are some pretty close sets. I'm interested to see, you know, looks like Foxo made an adjustment here. I'm interested to see what Jushichi does in this next set.
With that in mind, actually, is this 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5?
It's gonna be 3 out of 5.
Okay, making sure.
Yes. And in the background, Elemental is working very hard on making sure we have accurate statistics on, you know, these very close, very volatile sets. Oh wow, yeah. Shishi is definitely getting a lot of mileage out of being airborne against Foxo. And, you know, he got clipped for it a few times, but it's been working out. Oh, try to wake up parry there. Ooh.
Jushichi is having his 1 AD habit that was exposed earlier. Yeah, now he's being exploited against him.
Yeah. You really gotta be careful about that. Once your opponent is catching on to that, that's one of the most dangerous OSs to use, because if you make an incorrect decision on it, you will get grid broken.
The classic. As a general rule, when fighting Batista, I feel if you've just been flash kicked, one of the Batista go-tos is since you've put the opponent full screen, they will lay it down and then immediately throw a laser.
Yeah, just check your movement.
Oftentimes,
okay.
Oftentimes you may as well just go for the just attack and then stand shield or no shield. Since in most cases they are throwing grid away in that attempt.
Definitely liking, Jushichi's awareness of various neutral situations here. Trying to, force his way in when he can. Right now, Foxo's sitting on life lead, so Jushichi's gonna have to make something happen very quick here. He does! Alright!
Fox attempted to disrespect. And, yeah, loses that round for it. Well,
wow. That's really good sets.
Shichi is very patiently waiting to get working.
One thing I will say is that, I'm used to seeing Fox do a bit more B drills, and I'm wondering, if he's just, he doesn't want to do it against, he doesn't leave that much of a gap against Katsuki, or, I don't know. Yeah, and Jushichi is very decisively using his grounded fireballs to check Fox at the neutral.
I will admit, I don't... Oh, I guess it's probably necessary for Akatsuki to use... I'm not sure if Akatsuki needs to use CS in a corner B Katsuki versus Batista. Oh, that was an interesting...
Yeah, I'm surprised that converted. Foxo, very nice awareness of getting... Oh man, 60 starter, here we go.
Will not kill.
Yeah, it's not gonna kill with one touch range.
Life lead is what he needs. I don't know what he was going for there, but it's okay. He still has the life lead.
Man, it's still really tense though. One throw? Oh man, yeah, like I said, if one throw is gonna do it there. Yeah, it was also really risky from Fox, but it worked out for him.
Okay.
Alright, so we're just going right back into it. Jushichi definitely looks hungry for the next set.
Well, as I said, since the previous games, Fox actually had kind of sniffed out Jushichi's defensive habits. I'm wondering if he also has picked up on that. One of the advantages that Batista has that's kind of unstated, it's a disadvantage that becomes an advantage in a sense. Because her options as far as pro OSing are very limited. Actually, I think it becomes a little hard to tell, like when the Batista player is actually OSing, because the biggest OS is, besides 1 AD, it's pretty much flash kick throw. So
yeah,
it can be hard to tell
flash kick OS.
Yeah, it can be hard to tell when Batista is just flash kicking or when they're attempting to do throws.
Yeah, that's very true. But oh man. It's a difficult conversion, I think. Oh wow, that's gonna do it.
I get the feeling that that was intended to be a dash in the block, but
Yeah, I do think that did look like a dash block. Yeah, but
it'd be like that sometimes.
yeah, it just feels like that sometimes. Nice block on the Itazu into the low from Fox there. It's very tricky. Oh man, that stagger.
Ooh, that's again. In that case, I feel Jushichi actually chose to get a little greedy with that 180.
Yeah, he did.
It's worth.
And I think, you know, it might be, you know, worthwhile for him to maybe, you know, do fuzzy mash, throw less instead of doing the 180, because it's getting him hit a lot here.
That will be it. If
It's looking good, but this is a really tense situation for Shishi here. One hit from Foxy up, and you know that was. I definitely want to see Shishi, you know, maybe vary up his option selects a little bit, because Stantec also will lose those same options.
What I didn't see there, which is a little surprising, I think, for Akatsuki players, I don't recall seeing Jushichi attempt jump back air throw as his throw OS. Which
yeah, though at the same time, Foxa really wasn't displaying a lot of assault use, so that might have been deliberate on his part.
I feel he was doing it more as the set went on, or rather, he was just doing assault early on in the set and started to use it less. I saw more assaults during the first and I would say second, third games.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got our Vorpal cycle wins, and Jushichi managed to clutch it out by 3. But at the same time, as you said before, Batista's kind of nature as a character kind of causes her to lose cycles sometimes just due to the nature of how she works. But we've got a lot of throws and throw techs from both sides. Wow, 14 throws from Fox really just kind of shows the nature of the set.
Batista, as a character, tends to throw far less than that. I feel Fox tries to enforce throw quite a bit more than most Batistas, which, I mean, that can be a good or a bad thing. Since her reward on throw is lower than most, we're about to start the next one. So we'll have to hopefully go over we can go over this hopefully at the end of the tournament if we have time.
Yeah.
You should screen cap it.
Yeah, we can screen cap it later. But yeah, it was a really good set though. I mean, 3-1 doesn't really do it justice. But we're gonna go right into Darkhero versus Borderlands in our losers semis. Yeah, losers semis.
Merkava Lin. I don't think this matchup is that bad, but this is one of those matchups that, when talking with some players, I've talked with Squish about this idea before, that even if a matchup is not necessarily bad on paper, there is such a thing as matchups that require a lot more input from one party than the other.
I definitely agree. There are matchups that are harder to play for one player than the other, even if on paper the matchup might be evenish. Right now, go ahead, please.
It's only because, yeah, you'll have those cases where even if a matchup is even or very close to even, because one side can play more passively, a lot of the decision-making falls on the other player, which is just more mentally exhausting, and that is a harder matchup.
Yeah, and that we're seeing that right now, whereas, you know, Borderlands has very strict control of what's going on in neutral, and that's forcing Darkhero to, you know, make hard reads to get himself started. But we'll see how it develops.
That was a good dash block. at that distance faster than Borderlands can really react.
But yeah, that was a really good dash 5A, and Darkhero's going to go ahead and take him to the corner here. Alright, and...
Ooh, counter hit from... actually one of her more potent starters. You don't want to be counter hit by that one.
Yeah, and I definitely like the awareness from Darkhero there to go ahead and CS, and he didn't get a lot of meter from it, but he did get, you know, more than he would have. Oh, yeah, it's a fortunate drop here, but unfortunately Darkhero is really good work either. And Borderlands does win the Vorpal cycle here, so yeah, he's going to go ahead and spend it on 236C.
Even if he didn't manage to get a conversion off it, it left him at good positioning. But Darkhero forces his way back in with the assault.
Oh, wow.
That's also a strong start for Lynn.
That is a very strong start for Lynn, and the main thing that I saw there is that Borderlands, it wasn't even just that he failed to block you, he shielded, so... Really got to be careful about that. It's not a particularly fast overhead, but you do need to respect it in the sense that you need to have the awareness that it's there. Honestly, for both players, it's looking pretty solid. I think Borderlands, you know, he's having some issues with his execution there, but it's looking like he could definitely come back in this next set and, you know, make something happen.
I don't think this is, I don't feel that the player level is extremely lopsided or anything, yeah.
Oh no, definitely. I feel like, both players can definitely make an adjustment here and shake things up. But Borderlands seems to be content to just kind of hang back and decide the pace of neutral, but Darkhero manages to get a hit. And he's going to take him to the corner with Vorpal on his side. Yep, I expected him to do the Assault J6E there. Which, you know, that's just part of leveraging your Vorpal, right?
It is a fast overhead option. Finish that round. I don't think Borderlands was able to really enact his neutral game plan at all that time.
No. Darkhero did kind of bulldoze him there, but, you know, at the same time with Line's dash speed, that's something that can always happen with, you know, Line player making some commitments. But right now, it's looking really good for Borderlands. He's probably going to go ahead and spend some cash on Warm Oki here. It's definitely looking good resources-wise for him, and gets the hit on Darkhero there.
That was a case where I suspect Darkhero was probably so concerned with earning Vorpal that he stopped looking for recovery overhead options.
Yeah, and that's, you know, one of those things where there's so much going on with pressure in this game that you just gotta be aware.
I was waiting to see if Darkhero was aware of that.
Yeah.
ADP.
ADP counter hit. I'm quite familiar with it myself, but looks like Darkhero is going to go ahead and take that off of that sequence there.
He landed a BPN as a grid break, which once again, though people will say Lynne is a lower damage character, that's not entirely true, but a lot of her bigger damage, or like meterless or low meter cost, is tied to hitting with very key moves, mostly her overheads, which is a little unorthodox for Uni. Most overheads are fairly low damage, but Lynne's best damage is mostly locked behind two of her overheads, BTN and her 5C follow-up.
Yes. Well, it looks like we're going to be going right into our losers finals, which is going to be Jushichi versus Darkhero. Oh, but it looks like we're going to take a quick pause as we obviously go over the stats. Prediction-wise, I think we're gonna see Darkhero with advantage on Vorpal wins, if only slightly. Yeah.
CS usage was, I believe, equal. Or CS. Merkava's is a little blurry on my screen, admittedly.
Looks like a 2. Yeah, it's 2.
Oh, I see now. Yes. I think that was pretty close to even, but in terms of, I guess, decision making and in terms of the system mechanics, but Darkhero most definitely threw more. I don't think I saw Borderlands throw at all over the course of those, though you need to be keeping some momentum to really attempt to go for throw.
Well, yeah, you need to, in order to enforce a throw situation, you kind of have to ensure that your opponent is, going to be sitting there not doing anything else. And Borderlands, with its pressure, was, it tended to be kind of short, and he would reset back to neutral fairly quickly. So there really wasn't he didn't really have enough time to present that opportunity, I thought.
So, looks like we are about to get started on Darkhero versus Jushichi. We've got the character select. I'm assuming, going off of what I'm seeing so far, that this is not a character locks tournament, as Jushichi is...
He's going to play Orie. And Jushichi's Orie is pretty good. I mean, he didn't play an Orie for a pretty long time. So I'm interested to see if he just wanted to play Orie, or maybe he just feels like Orie's controls Mine a lot better in neutral.
I don't doubt that Orie has an easier time playing the overall game than Katsu does. And I would say she probably has an easier time with it than Hanasa does.
Yeah, I would agree. But Ju's gonna get the first decisive hit here. So he's gonna be putting Darkhero in the corner, and he's using Orie's, neutral reach and to kind of keep pressure on Darkhero in neutral. Darkhero, DP gets him some momentum back, but
Jushichi getting caught low by that second hit or rather 2A. A very consistent issue I feel Orie players have, just to the nature of how the character works. Since her backdash is so unique and long, Orie players rely a lot on her backblock when just dealing with footsies, which is good since it moves so fast. But what that also means, Orie really can't use her backdash in the way that most characters do, so they'll oftentimes attempt to walk back in order to cause them to slip.
get hit by low.
Yeah, she gets caught a lot, I feel, by long-reaching lows, just because, the character wants to be forcing whiffed, but the game has a lot of long-range lows.
Yeah, and it's hard to walk on that razor's edge of, barely avoiding that low so you can get the whiff punish. Alright, Ju's gonna use his, tries to get cheeky there with the corner cross-up setup. And I like how he effectively used his VO resources there.
That was a dangerous backdash, but Darkhero wasn't really prepared to try and fight against it. Let's see, so he won't be able to kill with this confirmed, but he has the means to go for it.
I'm interested. I wonder what Jushichi was inputting there.
He attempted to do an EX thrust.
I mean, yeah, I know he got EX thrust, but I'm wondering if that was meant to be a Spire instead.
Very, very likely, I would say. EX thrust, I think, really would have only been able to counteract Darkhero going for maybe a Hien or a charge Kuga, and Spire, of course, beats pretty much anything she attacks there.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is kind of a in neutral right now, but Jushichi's going to get a decisive hit here, and Rory's got very strong corner pressure, so we'll see what he does with it. Looks like he was content to just kind of reset back to neutral. But he's got Vorpal, so even though Darkhero is going to get a knockdown here, he's going to be able to leverage that on Wake Up.
Looks like just then he's got this round.
Yeah, he's got this.
The interaction right before this hit, there was a point where Darkhero went for a roll and passed through Jushichi, and I believe he forced a missed input due to the cross-up. He rolled through. I think I saw Lin either do 2A or 5A just as Aurier began to summon Thanatos. So I'm assuming that was meant to be I assume that was meant to be something like, I suppose, a thrust that came out in the wrong direction.
I could see that. I could definitely see that happening. Right here, looks like Darkhero is coming back with a pretty decisive hit. But yeah, really strong shield from Jushichi there allowed him to take his turn back from that Air Kuga. Oh yeah, really good stagger 5A throw.
He went in aggressively and earned Vorpal back, just as he was on the verge of losing it.
And you're seeing Darkhero going, being a bit more aggressive with a 6-6C in order to try to police some of Aurier's normals. Oh wow, force function. Oh wow, and he had CS, it's gonna be a conversion.
Darkhero really liked Lin force function, which I think is fair, because I do think that that was a good underutilized almost.
She's gonna get the hit here.
Corner. Ooh, he just runs forward and out.
Yeah. It's a really, oh wow, I was about to say, it's a really tense moment for the Vorpal cycle there. I don't know if Darkhero was looking for a throw or if he got too greedy, but unfortunately he got grid broken there and Jushichi clutched it out.
I suspect that was a 180 gone all wrong.
Yeah, but it's, yeah. I'm also wondering if, he wanted to win the Vorpal cycle by trying to shield something, or if he did think there was a throw coming. Interesting. Oh, wow, see, in that situation, I really wanted to see Darkhero use the Icy Kuga into EX Kuga round. He could have cashed out for a lot of damage there. Oh!
Exploding 180 again.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, it's, the OS has its uses, but every time you're using it, you are opening yourself up to some significant risk.
I'm realizing I'm not seeing... Darkhero is willing to use Linne's Assault Jump 6B. I'm not seeing Jushichi doing Aurier Assault Jump A so far.
Oh yeah, we haven't seen it yet. Jushichi has mostly been using his chain shift to leverage Divine Thrust in order to get in and start his pressure. So we'll see if that option becomes leveraged later on.
Also, not very much 6B at all.
Oh yeah, he did it once, and he didn't even convert off of it, so I guess, maybe that's just a decision that he's making.
Takes Vorpal, despite being cornered there.
Oh yeah, gets hit with the Aurier special. Oh, unfortunately he misses the 5A link there, but he does get a 5A throw. Oh wow, Darkhero got in there, but he didn't commit to 5A, so he didn't get a conversion. Jushichi's going to come in with Sacred Spire. Jushichi is getting a lot of mileage off of his throws this game. I'm going to be interested to see what the stats are on those. Oh yeah, that's a good conversion.
Yeah, I appreciate that conversion on Darkhero's part.
Yeah, that's the one thing with Darkhero that I really want to see more of is that Line is, you know, her average damage is a bit lower, but if you can route into Icy, B Kuga, into EX Kuga, that's a lot of damage that he's leaving on the table, unfortunately. And I also want to see him try to shield the Ori's 2 and 4B a little bit more so he can kind of not give Jushichi so much frame advantage off of hitting that button.
While I do see what you're saying, I kind of feel a lot of the time it's not all that important to, only because compared to some other things, shielding Thanatos a lot of the time is it's riskier than a lot of other shielding situations. There are a lot of cases where Aurier can still choose to either bait green shield or go into other options that will be either crouching or standing shield.
It looks like Jushichi is trying to make a comeback here. And he's using a lot of resources to do it. Unfortunately, Darkhero manages to get that second round, so we're going to be 2-1?
Yes, 2-1 currently.
Yeah. And yep, Jushichi's gonna stick with Aurier. I think it's working out for him. Just, you know, just those little moments.
厄介なのが現れたな。あなたを正さねばなりません。ファーストクローンリバイド。
Ah, there's exactly that situation I was talking about. Jushichi trying to force a whiff and he gets caught by the tip of Linne just drops the combo, but not in a good position to still take a ripple. But they're still basically playing neutral right now.
Yeah, they're still playing neutral. Oh wow, Jushichi fortunately didn't get that counter hit. I mean, didn't get that confirm there. Does get... Oh, okay.
Another drop. I'll say, right now I'm seeing... Even though Jushichi is the one attempting to force whiffs, Darkhero seems to be doing a better job of taking advantage of whiff punishes to rush in and at the very least start pressure.
Yeah. Oh wow, gets hit by delay assault. He didn't shield, so that might have just, you know... Oh, that should do it.
He read the back, well, he didn't read the backdash, he reacted to the backdash and takes that.
Oh, okay.
You just want to over here. Good backdash on Darkhero's part.
Yeah, it was a good backdash. We'll see if he can... Oh, unfortunately he doesn't get the conversion here, and Jushichi's going to take that advantage to put him in the corner.
Those 2 drops in a row. Very, very bad thing to be doing at this point when you're already behind. 5-8 hits, but those chooses to go for a throw, which secures an orbital.
Yeah, I think he was intending on going for the throw anyway.
Jushichi chose to concentrate at a very dangerous distance and got counter hit force trouble. Good throw tech.
Oh, come on. Yeah. Really... I really was expecting Darkhero to leverage his chain shift there. Oh, he could have EXE'd there, but he manages to clutch that round out. Yeah, that is one of Line's privileges, that she does have the ability to get a little more range off of her reversal with some meter.
the tip of the Divine Thrust, but Yoshichi doesn't convert. I believe at that distance the only real option is EX Thrust.
Yes. And this should do it. If he, I was gonna say the route was going places, so I didn't want to say it until I was sure. Yeah, it's gonna be Jushichi's gonna be taking that 3-1 over Darkhero. Definitely interested to see the statistics. There's definitely gonna be a lot of throws.
Yeah, a lot of throws more so on Jushichi's side, I think. But
yes. But I really felt like that was kind of Jushichi's general game plan, was leveraging his way in with Divine Thrust CS, and then once he was in, using a combination of 5A, Stagger, and just kind of the overall respect, just leveraging his throw game and getting Vorpal off of that. So yeah,
he won Vorpal more than twice as often.
Oh yeah, and he was very ready to use that CS to go ahead and get in with Divine Thrust.
Fewer throws than I would have expected, but
It felt like there was a lot more, but you know, I guess when you're watching, it can be hard to tell.
Yeah, Vorpal usage, Vorpal awareness and utilization was definitely greater on Jushichi's side. I'm not sure if it's matchup unfamiliarity or anything else, but it kind of felt like Darkhero found himself struggling in a lot of aspects. There were also a lot of good things he did in response. He may have Darkhero may have hit Jushichi with force function more times than I've ever seen in a set with Linne. He was very quick to react to assault in particular with it. I think that's part of why there was a point over the course of the matches where it seemed like Jushichi kind of removed assault from his offense altogether for a time.
Yes, he definitely started leveraging throw a lot more, but we're going to be going straight into our grand finals, which is going to be Jushichi versus Foxo 42. And it looks like Jushichi is raring to go back on Akatsuki.
So, I guess we'll see if Jushichi has had some time to think about the matches he played earlier with Fox and can prevent himself from falling into some of the same habits that got him killed the last time.
Yeah. I really think he was doing well, especially in neutral. I just think on defense, you know, he was... I mean, and it's definitely hard, especially on net play, to block in that situation. But yeah, he was definitely getting blown up for 1 AD a lot. So we'll see what his defense, what changes he's made to himself defensively this time.
I agree that a lot of his neutral decisions were strong. There came a point near the end where Fox had figured out, for example, though, that he was going to jump back and then attempt to assault over Batista EX Ball almost in every circumstance, unless Fox specifically called out that option. So I'm curious to see how that part of the dynamic will change in this grand final.
Yeah. Alright, so we're already going out. Oh my god, already there's a TRM throw for Foxo, rib breaking Jushichi, and
despite that rib break, I feel Jushichi ended up beating the rib break very quickly since he just had to block so many Batista crystals.
yeah. Oh yeah, but it's unfortunately it looks like he's not really gonna be able to do much this round unless, like I said, went for a Hail Mary 6C.
I think that might have been another case where, against any other character,
Oh, counter
counter
hit.
hit close B would have probably allowed him to 6C normally.
Yeah, it can be hard to break that muscle memory. Oh, nice!
6C was very impressive though.
That was a very nice 6. And gets a good conversion too.
Catches Fox standing though. Which makes me guess he was probably going to press a button. Thrown.
Oh yeah. Challenging 2A from Foxo, gets him a hit there. She just claps back. Ooh! Oh, he tried.
That's another case again where if it were any other character, that would have actually worked out.
Yeah.
It's just very pulled out.
Oh man, he gets hit by B-Drill, that's gonna be it. It's actually, it's pretty funny, on Discord, Foxo's profile picture is the Pokemon B-Drill, which I think it's a funny little gag.
Oh, I see.
Foxo definitely came out very aggressive in that first set. Jushichi, I think he had some good answers again in neutral. It's just that, you know, the defense is where it's really just becoming really volatile for both players, I feel.
Yeah, agreed. Jushichi is playing neutral very well, and when he's on offense, for the most part, he's doing a good job of making Fox second guess himself. But when it comes down, say, to crunch time, as it were, and Tista is in Fox's space, he's getting a lot of his defenses called out.
Oh yeah, I agree. And yeah, it's right now Foxo has got a pretty aggressive life lead. Foxo went for a TRM there.
And he got TRM'd, I believe.
He got TRM'd back. Oh, try to go for a 6B there. Oh, and I like Foxo is now, instead of blocking the ground and fireballs, he's just going for his own air fireball to kind of just hop over it. Oh, nice flash kick, mate. There we go. It's going to be some good damage. Enough to put him into one-touch range.
That's a case where, okay, if he had managed to connect. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So if he had managed to connect one more hit, he would have likely comboed it where he had to win that round.
Oh, I see.
That ending was not what I was expecting. This whole set so far, well, the previous set mostly, Yoshichi hit Fox very often with double jump into jump 2C, and I feel like he might have been expecting it again. So many players, myself included, when they see Akatsuki double jump, will crouch walk kind of instinctively because jump 2C is not open.
Yes.
And then his second jump repositioned him and he landed falling jump 6C, which doesn't hit him.
Yes. And, oh yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I do think that's one of Foxo's strengths, that he really does know how to leverage C fireball in neutral and use it to kind of lock his opponent down and try to get a drill set up. Ooh, parry.
That was interesting. Mostly the way that he knocked Batista back in front of Akatsuki.
Yes. And Fox is going to spin some meter here. Oh, shove throw. Oh, succeed.
This is now, I think, the fourth time or so that Fox has been caught stand teching. So I believe he's not defaulting to I believe he's not defaulting to Flash Kick OS, and I think he is just attempting to react.
Yes.
So this is Fox is currently up and 1 game left to win it all.
Yeah, it's tournament set for Fox right now. But you know, you can never count out an Akatsuki player.
I believe it's definitely not impossible. But I personally feel for a player who is dealing with grand finals pressure
Oh
to
yeah.
simultaneously fix both a flaw in your offense and a flaw in your defense. And that is a lot to process. It's easier, I feel, when you know you only need to fix one thing.
Fox is looking pretty good. Nice block on the B-drill.
We'll do that now. No, not quite.
No, not quite.
She gets caught dash blocking, or attempting to dash block.
Oh, he gets hit by the B-drill that time. But, you see, he's got a pretty good... Oh, wow, Fox had very good awareness to get that, to clutch out that Vorpal cycle at the end there. That hit, I don't know if he was expecting a throw or what, but he did get hit. And alright, you should be taking this round. Oh, it's a crucial drop.
Oh.
Alright, well he manages to clutch that round out. That looked like 1 AD from Fox. Alright, and Ju's got him cornered here. He's got a pretty good lead on the Vorpal cycle.
Fox currently is back on his heels and having a hard time.
Oh, wow, and he gets... Unfortunately, Ju misses the punish there again. I wonder what Rowdy's going for that's causing that drop.
Fox with Vorpal as well, this is looking bad.
Throw. It's time to be patient right now for Jushichi. He should win the Vorpal cycle here. So, all hope is not lost. Oh, and see, just like that.
Will this kill though? I don't think Pro is so bad.
Yeah. Oh wow, that was... Wow, he's still alive. This is really tense. Oh, and he goes for the B-drill and gets him.
Okay, and with that, it looks like Fox takes it and is...
Yep, Fox is going to be your Road to Evo 4 winner for the 3rd week in a row.
Ah. So, congratulations to Fox.
Yeah, definitely. Congratulations. Very solid play from both players.
A new sacrifice comes to you.
And I'm sure we'll have the stats up shortly to talk about that. But yeah, I really felt like there was a lot of solid play near the tail end of the tournament from a lot of players, a lot of really good awareness of situations and Vorpal contesting.
I think once we hit top 4 in particular, the overall level of consistency went up.
Definitely.
I think out of the play that we got to witness, I don't feel that there was anyone doing anything fundamentally like unsound, but the results of this tournament do mostly speak to the difference in like experience so far. Jushichi in particular, like there was a lot of overall sound decision making that I think is reflected in his experience, and while a lot of the other players I saw, I'm not sure how long people have been playing, but it really is just a matter of time and then putting in the effort and grinding out your matches and just getting a good feel for things.
I definitely agree. There was a lot of sparks of potential and a lot of players, and it's clear that with more experience, they'll be able to make more sound decisions on top of their own, personal ability to make reads on their opponent. Yeah, so we got the full stats going on here. So Fox did have a lead in Vorpal wins this time by 6, and he also had a pretty decisive lead in throws as well.
I think as far as the Vorpal goes, a lot of it had to do with the neutral game itself being played differently. Fox I feel was playing much closer to Jushichi for most of those games, and so the risk in Jushichi attempting to shield things was much higher. Shielding gems in particular is a bigger risk. Shielding say orbs and lasers less so, but just with the timing being varied, it was very easy for Jushichi to accidentally get green shields and then cost himself the Vorpal cycle instead.
Yeah. And just this time around, Fox was definitely a lot more aggressive in terms of playing the neutral game, because I think he saw in their first sets that Jushichi was making a lot of call-outs on the more passive Batista style that he was going for initially.
Yeah, definitely. There were overall far fewer scenarios where Fox was jumping back and Jushichi was jumping forward. That dynamic changed quite a bit once Fox realized he might as well play closer and slightly more grounded overall.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And then, but yeah, it was a really solid set. Akatsuki versus Batista is not a matchup I've seen very frequently before, so it was interesting to see it get played out.
While I'm used to it, I feel like the nuances of the Akatsuki-Batista matchup, even though I've seen the matchup played fairly often, it's pretty rare that both players... actually, I'll correct that, and I'll be more direct. It's very rare that I see Akatsuki players who have a good understanding of what their options are in that matchup.
Yeah, it definitely looked like Ju had a pretty good idea of what he could do in various neutral situations. There was some times where Fox kind of got him in a checkmate situation, but when that didn't happen, he was very willing to go in there and enforce his game with parry, using air assault and whatnot to make sure that he was policing Fox's neutral options.
Me saying that is meant in a very broad sense when I say Akatsuki players being either inexperienced or just unaware of what their options are. In my time in Japan as well, I feel there were a lot of Akatsuki players who seemed very lost as to what their options were. Really only... There are probably at most 6 or 7 Akatsuki players worldwide who play this matchup at an advanced level.
Yeah, it's Batista is definitely a character that you have to put some time and effort into understanding, just because she's got a lot of options, and you have to make some specific reads and call outs on not only on defense but also on your offense as well to kind of keep her in check. But yeah, with that, I think we're done for the night. I hope everybody enjoyed the tournament, and there's sure to be more to come.
Yeah, this was... it sounds like a much faster tournament overall than usual. This appears to have wrapped up probably, at least 25 minutes ahead of schedule, if not a bit more.
Yeah, but sometimes it just turns out that way.
Besides the fact that I screwed up the first 20 minutes of it, but you know, we'll keep that
Oh.
quiet. Anyways, thank you guys. Thank you, Senna and Outlaw Vinegar for commentating. If you guys want to hit them up on Twitter, for Outlaw Vinegar, it's just as it's spelled, which is right here. And then for Senna is Danmaku _ Senna, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. It was good co-commentating with you, Vinegar, and I'm sure I'll see you around.
Yeah, things for this year, it sounds like Uni is probably going to continue to be very big at the key tournaments for this year, including Evo. So, all things being even, hopefully people will be able to see me there. So I still intend to go to tournaments to help support the Japan side. The Japanese players, I think, have been pretty excited to attend Western tournaments ever since Lamp's Western debut last year. So if things go well, hope to see me and some of the arcade gods at tournaments this year.
That sounds great. All of the North American players are very excited to see the Japanese players at events, and they're always lining up to play them, and I'm sure it'll be great.
Oh, where's the other one? No, that's not it. Where's my conclusion? Where did it go? Oh, no, wait, did I not download it? Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Next week, we will not have a tournament. That reason being, it's going to be still streaming on a Saturday for a different tournament that's through Red Blades. So catch that next week, as that one is going to be coming through. Ooh, did I screwed it up? Where did it go? Sorry, OBS issues at the moment. As I'm trying to add on this picture, but apparently it just froze me up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and end it here, and hopefully I have that ready up next time. But I do have a thank you basically underneath the Road to Evo thing. Thank you for playing, but oh well, I didn't have that one prepared. The following, hopefully, Brett and Outlaw, you're gonna be not next week, but you're good to go the 13th.
Yes, I think I'll be available.
Okay.
I'll let you know, but so far things should be a go.
Okay, so we'll have Outlaw Vinegar again on April 13th for the PC side, and trying to get Brett on April 13th too, to see if he's available for that. Just a sneak peek for the next commentaries. So if you're planning on playing on EXG tournaments, please be sure to go to the Discord and set yourself as a Unis player. That way you can know when to sign up. I think there's been some confusion over how the communication went through, especially for newer players that are coming in. Please let me know how I should be wording it so that you guys are making sure that you're on stream or on Discord to find your opponent, and or inside Battlefight, as they have their own chat system if you open up your bracket. So if you want more news and updates, head over to the EXG Discord in order to get more updates on more tournaments. Now, again, I'm working on a cruise battle, so if you guys are interested in that, there's going to be some more news about that. I am working some kinks of it. There's kind of like a rough draft of plan on how to do it, but it won't be on Saturdays. It would be on Tuesdays for cruise battle of 5 versus 5. So hopefully you guys will enjoy seeing that one as well, with other commentaries when I find them. Once again, thank you all for watching, and hope to see you all again. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Night, everyone.